From Hollywood, time once again for Money TV. I'm Don Baillargeon. Thanks for joining us. Money TV is the program all about money and what makes it happen. Well, the internet was quick to ridicule certain cities in California over their banning the distribution of plastic straws, with one city even going so far as to promise jail time for repeat offenders. Starbucks is working to replace plastic straws with plastic sippy cups. Unsure of the logic behind that. Governments have declared a war on plastic. Supermarkets in several states now charge 10 cents or more to pack your groceries in a plastic bag, which used to be free. But plastic pollution in our oceans has become a major problem. In the middle of the Pacific Ocean, there exists a floating mass of plastic debris about the size of Texas. Plastic doesn't biodegrade for several hundred years, and plastic debris in the oceans has found its way into sea life, and the residue of which into our seafood. If you eat seafood, it's possible you're eating contaminated seafood. It's not a good thing. It's estimated by 2050 the amount of plastic in the ocean will outnumber by weight the amount of fish in the ocean. Now, bio-based plastics like PLA may be an answer. PLA is a kind of a combustible plastic made from starch, usually corn. It's generally touted by the manufacturers as being safe because it doesn't come from petroleum. PLA fully biodegrades in 3 to 6 months in the laboratory, but it can take much longer in a landfill. Years ago, almost all straws were made of paper, and that's becoming popular again, but there's only one U.S. company still manufacturing paper straws, and they've been overwhelmed by the sudden increase in demand. Even when it's in landfills, plastic is at risk of blowing away and ending up in rivers and oceans, but the biggest factor is plastic litter. People visiting beaches and leaving behind their plastic bottles, plastic food packaging, and other plastic trash on the sand, directly contributing to plastic getting into the ocean. Seems like a simple solution to me. Carry out what you carry in. Now here's something you don't ever have to worry about. It's our toll-free number, good from anywhere in the world you're watching the program, 888-259-4449 for free information about our featured guests. When you do call, be sure and ask to be added to the subscription list of our Money TV newsletter. It is free, as is the telephone call, 888-259-4449. Visit us at MoneyTV.net, and please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Well, our first guest is joining us on the phone, Mr. Greg Lambrecht. Greg is the CEO of Singlepoint Incorporated. SING is their stock symbol. Greg, always a pleasure having you on the program.
Oh, thanks for having me today, Don.
Now, I saw a press release go out this week. It's full of exciting information. Why don't you reiterate for our audience what was in there?
Yeah, well, one of the main things in there is that we wanted to, let all our shareholders know that our revenues for first quarter were $188,000, and we expect the second quarter to be, even higher. So, all the stuff that we've been doing as far as acquisition and in-house product are starting to pay off and show up in the revenue. So that was one thing. We also, reiterated that we're obviously, it's public knowledge. We sent in our Form 10. We expect that to be done shortly, which is going to, basically lead to the ability to raise money at a significant better discount for Singlepoint, which will lead to more acquisitions, which is going to lead to more revenue. So we're doing all the right things, and it's starting to show up in our balance sheet.
Well, it's really amazing with the addition of the Form 10 becoming a fully reporting company. It puts you into an entirely new arena, so to speak, of potential investors, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Besides the investors that have been courting us, because now they can invest in Singlepoint because we're fully reporting, but also all the family and institutional offices that really, in their bylaws, they can't buy into pinks. Now all of them are going to be able to buy our stock on the open market. So, I expect to see hopefully some significant volume and price increase in Singlepoint stock.
Well, you've probably already noticed, and I'll just remind you, but you've probably already noticed this, but the money from the big boys seems to come easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it's funny you said that, because we're finding it out on our end too. All these years, you talk to larger in institutional or family offices, and they always say, well, we don't do $1 million, because it takes us the same amount of work, time and attorneys to do 500,000 as it does as $1 million, and the funny thing about that, Don, is that we found the same thing to be true and agree with them now with our acquisitions. We did some smaller ones last year and learned a lot, and now we're really interested in doing larger acquisitions. Somewhere between 5 and 10 million, because we have found out on our end that it does take the same amount of time to do an acquisition for 500,000 or it does 10 million. So, interesting question.
Any update on the Kevin Harrington campaign?
Yeah, we are so close. We're literally just kind of having the attorneys check the boxes and make sure that all the legalese are there before we send it out. But it's taken us a lot longer than we thought, but we're very, very close. Everybody will be pleasantly surprised, I'm sure, this month.
Once again, Singlepoint Incorporated, SING. Greg, great update. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you, Don. Have a good day, and go sing.
Take care. Well, it wouldn't be an episode of the program without Riggs Eckelberry from Origin Clear. OCLN is their stock symbol. Riggs, always a pleasure.
Thank you, Don.
Now, you've got the premiere, the very first, the absolute #1 show, the Origin Clear Water Conference coming up. Tell us about that.
Well, the people have these big conferences. My buddy Grant Cardone gets his boot camps and all these people yelling and screaming. I thought we should do the same.
Why not?
Right? Now this is going to be a different scale. Remember the Water Chain Conference of 18 June?
Right.
And there was that drone shot coming in, and basically it's going to be the same thing, but this time it's the water barons.
The water barons.
The water barons. Let me explain to you a little bit about how we're going in terms of Origin Clear's acquisition space.
Okay.
You know about the concept of the long tail,
right?
Which is Netflix first found this out when there's the big, tentpole hits, the Mission Impossibles and so forth, and then it all went, thousands of titles that people would download, or at the time ship, once or twice, right? They made more money from all those than from the big tentpoles. Now, I know a very large water company that has $1 billion M&A, mergers and acquisitions budget this year, right? They got to spend $1 billion. Well, they can't acquire a company doing $1, $2, or $5 million. Too small, right? The deal's not worth it. We can, because first of all, we have a philosophy of preserving that guy or gal in their domain with their network. Right. They don't have to worry about, losing it all and destroying their brand. So we can expand fast. We can do these deals simply, and that way we can roll up the long tail. All these loan operators I've been talking about, the Dan Earlys of the world, who have all this customer asset and patents and this and that, they just need a home. Right. And Dan, by the way, is just kicking it. As I told you, he's made his first sale within first 30 days. I can't tell you, but he's doing really well. He's on track. Oh Lord! And we're just shoving the resources at it as fast as we can.
Well, what you said is really true, because you said this on an earlier program, that these people who are in business, you free them of all the responsibilities of running the business, so they can do what they originally got into business to do to begin with, and that was sell.
And help people with their water problems.
Right.
People always get into these things with some kind of missionary hope, like an idealistic, and that's lost. But they still have that, right? And we want those people because they will drive through all the pain. And so these guys, so far just guys, I really would like to see more gals in water. In fact, there's a nonprofit trying to get gals in water. It's really fantastic. But we're going to meet. We're going to discuss the direction. We're going to set some policies, get some feedback, and really start working as a group as opposed to us being loan operators, right?
Now, when's the conference and where's it going to be?
So it's Thursday the 16th, in fact, next week, and we'll try and get some kind of report from the conference next week. Great. And it's going to be in the La Cretz Innovation Center downtown, where we're based. And we're going to have a good time, and it's going to all be videoed. How many attendees are you expecting? How many presenters? It's going to be about a dozen people, something like that. Okay. It's kind of like a interactive conference. We're going to do high-level discussions about water, where it's going, where it can be, and what you're going to do about it. No, I'm just going to dominate the conversation. Of course you are. Well, of course you are. No, I'm learning to listen, and that's what we'll do. So what else is going on with the company? Well, it's amazing how we think the revenue is in a good place, but as I say, this is a long, hot summer for us because we really can't discuss that specifically until the results of the quarter in progress. So basta.
Okay.
Meanwhile, water chain is proceeding. We're again, it's something that is a lot of preparations for this thing to become real, and I'll be talking about that some more. And then the other thing is I'm just making sure that we're really focused. Oh, the technology. I have a huge announcement coming for the technology. But again, I will reserve that.
You reserve that. Well, we talked about on this program last week, you're really bullish on the oil industry's resurgence, so to speak. We're heading back towards $100 a barrel oil. I know that oil is a big part of your plans for the usage of the technology, but what other applications are there for your technology?
Yeah, so we use oil and gas as a great marker because people understand the cost of oil, et cetera. But a space they know less is actually hotter for us in some ways is the whole livestock effluent problem, manure, right? Pig manure, cattle manure, buffalo manure, I don't know, manure. And you got to separate that that's slurry. It's almost solid, but not quite. And there's valuable products in there, but there's also toxins and there's water to be recovered. We're doing very well in Spain with that right now. We are, and that's the third largest pork production country in the world.
Wow.
And so we have a great partner there. This company is really demonstrating how it's done with these mobile units that go around and clean it. And we're also working on doing that in Central and South America, where there's also lots of pig production. So more to follow. It's very exciting. The
water that's separated from the manure, what can it be used for?
Well, it can be cleaned as much as you want. It can be cleaned all the way to drinkable, but typically, but it can just be reused. You know, cows and pigs do drink water. So all that water can be reused right on site. You know, this is the thing. On-site water treatment maximizes recycling.
Exactly.
Because what are you going to do? Reuse it, right? Because you had to pay to get it, so why not? You know, and so recycling rates, which are only 1% in the U.S. today, are going to rise as we decentralize.
When I talk to you about water, I feel like I'm in a college lecture at these times. Once again, Riggs Eckelberry, he's the Dean of Water, we'll call him that.
Thank you, sir.
And the company's Origin Clear, OCLN. Riggs, I can't wait to hear the report from the water conference. Congratulations and good luck with that.
Thank you, sir.
Does this sound familiar? Turned down for a mortgage? Credit card interest over 20%? Didn't get the job you wanted? The problem is your credit score. Unsure what your credit score is? Call the Advocacy Network, 321-947-3220. Talk to Carl. He can help you regain your financial independence. Change your life today. 321-947-3220. Talk to Carl.
Have you heard the news? There's only one flat-fee news distribution network on the market. It's called AccessWire, and it's exclusively from Issuer Direct. Any day, anytime, the AccessWire News Network can deliver your press release to more than 1,500 media outlets in 98 countries. AccessWire also delivers real-time engagement analytics. You will learn who read and shared your press release and more. Best news of all, getting started is easy. Visit accesswire.com and extend your company's news reach today.
We are back. Thanks for staying with us and joining the phone now by Roger Ralston. Roger is the CEO of DirectView Holdings Incorporated. Their stock symbol is DIRV. Roger, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Don. It's great to be with you, as always.
Well, it's great to have you back on. We've been talking to your company for about a month. We've had a couple of really fabulous interviews, very interesting company. But for those that are seeing you for the very first time, tell us again what the company does.
Thank you. Yes, DirectView Holdings is a very exciting company. We're in the security and surveillance space. We have a number of subsidiaries underneath us. We have DirectView Security Systems. We have Virtual Surveillance. We also have Apex CCTV. The first two are primarily full turnkey security and surveillance companies, providing everything from design through consultation, installation, ongoing support of full-blown surveillance and security systems. Apex CCTV is an online e-tail location where we're doing online commerce and bringing in orders that way as well. So that is a very, very large website that historically has been huge, and it's just been relaunched.
Well,
so the company itself, though, DirectView Holdings, was set up as well to be a holding company for companies in the security and surveillance space, and we are also currently looking for other acquisition candidates as well.
Well, I really wanted to get you on this week's program because you put out a press release this week that I found fascinating. Why don't you give us some of the details on that?
Thanks, Don. Yes, the education market is a market that has a great need. It's always had a great need, but lately it's come to the forefront due to the tragic events that have happened, including the one very close to us in Parkland, Florida, near our Florida location. The senseless school shootings, that needs to be stopped. There's many ways that they can work on that. But one of the big ones that they are looking at right now is their security and their surveillance protocols at all these facilities, whether it be a daycare center or the largest universities. They're all looking at their security and surveillance procedures that they have in place, and many of them are, looking to make changes in it right now. We have been able to secure orders in that space, and we're very excited about it. We've been chosen by a couple of very prestigious schools, and we look to parlay that into other locations that we'll be able to announce.
Well, you're absolutely right, because in big cities across the world, video surveillance has become commonplace. Places like London, for example, you're probably being looked at by 2 or 3 video cameras at one particular time.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there is virtually not one vertical that can't use our products and services. And we service everything. We have clients in all walks of life, in all verticals out there, everything from schools. We have aviation. We have real estate companies. We have extremely high-profile individuals. There's really not one person or company, per se, that can't use what we sell. And you're right. I mean, in London, it is the norm, and it is very quickly becoming the norm here in the States as well.
Now, there's one industry that's exploding in the United States. That's the cannabis industry. And I guess that your security systems can be used for that as well, because let's face it, they do need security.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are definitely in the cannabis space. We have cannabis clients right now, and we have cannabis clients that we are working with right now for new installations. So it is a market that is going to have, explosive growth. And we're right there to take advantage of that and be of service to everybody that needs our products and services. The cannabis space is unique because our products are required to be in every facility that's out there. There's not one cannabis location that can be installed, and be under code, under the laws, and not have surveillance in it. It has to have security cameras. So we're there to take care of those people. We have definitely seen a huge increase in interest from that vertical, and we look forward to expanding on that and growing with it, and potentially having specialized divisions in that field as well.
Once again, Direct View Holdings Incorporated, DIRV is their stock symbol. Congratulations on all those developments, Roger. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Don. It's always great to be with you. Have an awesome day.
Take care. Joining us now in studio is Warren Wang. Warren is the CEO of ChineseInvestors.com Incorporated. Their stock symbol CIIX. Warren, always good to see you.
Hi, Donald.
Now, we had a great conversation on last week's show about your CBD division, but we really didn't touch on everything because it's such a vast industry, such a rapidly growing industry. So what's some of the latest since we have this forum to talk about it some more?
Sure. Well, stock went up a lot too, from 38 to 50.
Nice.
Highest 56, trading high, a lot of volume, almost
Nice.
like 770,000 shares a day a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of contribute CVSI related business. Like I said, my goal is fund emerging industry and then building the business. So we talk a lot about cryptocurrency. We're still going forward. We're building exchange, we're building media, we're building ATM network, we're building a bunch of other things. But in the meantime, I think CVSI is the leader on the CBD industry. The stock from 13 cents low on November all the way to $4.30 today.
Wow.
So it means for the small retail investor, just put $10,000 can be worth $350,000 to $400,000 in within less than a year. So what's behind that? I think there's because I'm a investor, I'm a Warren Buffett student, so I use the Warren Buffett strategy to apply to my investment strategy. I find out it works even in the penny stocks. So the reason the CVSI went up a lot because they kind of little fear from the investor. Secondly, they cash flow positive. Thirdly, most important, they are the leader in the CBD industry. So our goal is try to become the Chinese CVSI.
Okay.
Try to max our revenues, Also my biggest dream as a CEO of a public trading company is maximize the shareholders' value.
Of course.
So my goal is from 50 cents to $5. It's my goal. So how I get there is getting the revenue, getting the sales goals up, getting the profit margin improved. It just quickly expand it, because I think Congress will pass the law by fourth quarter to let the CBD legalize. I think within 3 years, CBD will be off the Schedule 1 drugs, so everybody can have a CBD. I think a CBD is kind of positive. I'm not too sure about THC marijuana type, because it's make people sleeping, and it's kind of a negative side of marijuana. But CBD is positive side on the CBD, make more energy. So you always say, hey, Warren, I don't know where you coming so much from the energy. Where are you from? It's from CBD.
Well, you talked about that in the program last week. You are not only a believer in the product, but you also use the product.
Yes, that's why I said this is the positive side of marijuana, because it's no addictions and make you sleeping well, have a lot of energy during the day, especially for the CEO, executive, professional. They can focus their works every day, concentrate their projects, concentrate their goals. So that's very good. I think that's why CVSI is from 11 cents, 13 cents to $4.30 today. So my goal is we already expand our operation in China. We're going to have a new office sharing with our new Coins 168 colleagues. So we expanding into the multi-level, I call second 2 tiers networking marketing business to sell the CBD infused cosmetics. In the U.S., we have an office, we have a retail shop in St. Gabriel, which I mentioned last time when we were in the program. Next year, hopefully we can double our revenue, and we can hopefully do the crowdfunding by April or June, that period, and hopefully our revenue can gradually meet the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange requirement. One thing about CVSI, so excited by the investor, is they are applying to the NASDAQ uplisting. Wow. So when they uplist into the main board, I think a lot of institutional investors are willing to take a look at the company, which has over $60 million revenue a year, $9 million net profit margin, net profit. So that's kind of interesting, which institution love to chase and purchase the stock from the public companies. So my goal is let the Chinese investor CIX from 50 cents to $5 a share within 3 to 5 years.
You know, when I talk to you about your program, your eyes light up like a Christmas tree. It's always fascinating. Once again, ChineseInvestors.com, CIIX. Warren, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
And joining us now on the phone is Tom Djokovic. Tom's the CEO of XLinux Incorporated. Their stock symbol is XSNX. Tom, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me back, Don.
Well, Tom, of course, you're headquartered in Southern California. They're experiencing a tremendous heat wave. I would imagine your phone's starting to ring for people wanting solar in their commercial installations.
Well, absolutely, Don. It's actually been ringing all year. This 2018 has been a great year for inquiries and also new projects. It just seems like commercial enterprises are really starting to look up and say, hey, it's time to do something about our energy costs.
Well, of course, the utility companies have continually increased rates. Now they have time of usage. The time you're using the energy is costing much more. So your sales pitch to where you can basically install solar installations at these commercial applications for about the same price they're paying for electricity on a monthly basis, that's really starting to bear some fruit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, well, the savings are actually very, very, very substantial, especially cash-paying customers when they invest the capital. And we're routinely seeing, paybacks in under 4 years if they can monetize all the tax benefits. And, and sometimes when we have to install slightly more expensive installation types, we can see the paybacks going up into the 4-year to 5-year range. But that's still very exceptional. And it insulates them from, just tremendous future cost increases. We just recently had a client who been talking to for about 9 months, and in the 9 months since they first called us, their electric rate usage has not increased, and their electric rate's gone up already close to $2,000 a year.
Wow.
So, which was about a 4% plus increase just in the last 9 months. So, with the solar system, they've already had they installed it earlier, they would already begun to insulate themselves from those kinds of increases.
Well, what's interesting too is if they don't have the roof space on their building, you can put the solar on a carport or a truck port.
Oh yes, absolutely. We're just handing in a proposal here just this week for a system that has well over 2,000 solar modules in the solar carport system, and it's about 50% of the system is going to be in the parking lot, about 50% on the roof. So without that parking lot area, without the ability to use solar carports, they would have been, the system would have been drastically undersized than what their actual needs were.
Well, that's kind of fascinating. Now, another thing that you do that I find really interesting is you also can include electric vehicle charging stations and something that I find remarkable, solar energy storage.
Oh, yes. I mean, on the EV charging electric vehicle, we're routinely getting phone calls actually just for the EV charging. Here in California, under the new green codes, it's a requirement, especially in non-private or rather public use areas. So, matter of fact, just this morning we're putting a bid in for, of all places, a Buddhist temple, about 6 charging stations. So we're getting routine phone calls for that. And then the other situation is on the energy storage. It's really focused at what's called demand charge mitigation, and there's just it's a technology we look at pairing with solar all the time. So there's the solar, the energy storage, and also just the energy management technologies. We look at how all 3 of those layer on to a customer's energy usage and what's going to really deliver the best savings, the best bang for their buck.
Fascinating technology, fascinating company. Once again, XLinux Incorporated, XSNX is their stock symbol. Tom, appreciate the update. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Don. Have a good week.
Take care. On this week's Money Wrap radio program, we're going to talk about the ultimate wardrobe malfunction. To listen online or find a radio station near you, go to the website moneywrap.com. Call us right now, toll free from anywhere in the world, 888-259-4449. For free information about our featured guests, when you do call, be sure and ask to be added to the subscription list of our MoneyTV newsletter. It is also free, as is the call, 888-259-4449. Visit us at MoneyTV.net. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. That's our program this week. As always, we'll be back next week. Thanks so much for joining us.